Even though that light is a little crazy looking.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm just gonna turn it on just a little bit. How's that?
Oh! Introducing the one, the only
Candy. Unwrap that candy, baby.
Take you to the candy shop.
It tastes just like candy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask for Candy, where we talk about healing, self-care, love, sex, relationships, and what it takes to be amazing on the daily. Who I am Candace Harper, lovecoach.com, and my purpose in life and with this podcast is to create healthy, romantic relationships all around the world, starting right here in Teaneck, New Jersey, from the beautiful Celebrities Boutique at 362 Cedar Lane. Celebrities Boutique is where everyone can look like a star and where you can afford to feel rich and famous, and it is owned by this beautiful woman right here, Miss... Hello, Miss Nneka Celebrities Bell. Hi, honey.
Hi, how are you?
How are
I
you?
am Nneka Bell. My purpose in life and with this podcast is to be of assistance to women. I am a makeup artist and a fashion stylist, and my goal is to ensure that your insides feel as good as your outside looks.
That's right, honey. Woo!
Yes.
Yay! So you are listening to us with your smart device, maybe, to the TuneIn app on Armed Radio, or maybe you're in the garden on armedradioglobal.com. We're also on Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. So don't forget to follow us and download.
Yes.
Or you might be here with us live on the Facebook, right? And if you are, I want you to make sure to share. Did you get to share, Nneka?
No, I'll do it right now.
I'm going to share to my business page. You guys should be out there sharing wherever you think you might want to. I think I'm going to share it to the Ask for Candy group. If you've not joined the Ask for Candy group, please do so.
Right now, yes.
Right? Go right now. Also, you can join Armed Radio Global, which is also a really fun group. I see that Yvonne has joined us.
Hi, Yvonne.
Right? I see that Dwayne Stanton Holmes, also known as DJ Tall Guy, has joined us. And I see Mindy Weaver. Hi, Mindy Weaver, who has just joined us. Welcome, people.
Yes.
Welcome in. Oh, also, we are on Patreon. And if you want to become a patron of the show, just click the link in our post description, which I will be adding later. Last week, Maria Ellison.
Yes, Maria.
Woo! She became our very first patron, which means that she will get access to early content, first dibs on any of our perks or offers or giveaways, anything that we do, she will know about it first. And also 30% off any private coaching package if she's interested in having any coaching. So yeah.
Okay.
That's all the pertinent information that everybody needs to know.
We must mention all of that.
Right, so everybody knows what's going on. So Nneka and I love to have conversations, and we love to grow and expand. And those of you who've been following the show all along know that Nneka is my brand new co-host.
Yes, I am.
Right, going forward, we have so much exciting events and things that we're going to be doing together. But before we get started, and tonight we have a really juicy topic.
Yes, we do.
It was a topic that we talked about last week that everybody got excited about. So we decided to bring it back. But first, I am a relationship coach, a growth facilitator, and matchmaker here to teach and inspire radical self-acceptance in myself and others so that we can all have our best possible love life.
Yes.
And Nneka, what are you, honey?
I am. I'm still trying to get used to sharing because I think I'm still a little struggling. But maybe
okay.
here, you can take a look at that. Yes. So I am the owner of several businesses. I am a mother. I am a wife. I'm an inspirational speaker and a professor where I teach marketing and business at Metropolitan College of New York. But I am here to educate and inject you with my learned knowledge and how to manage in the areas of your life and how to be successful doing it. So that's why I'm here.
Yes, honey.
Thank you. We got it?
I love it. That and the fact that you're fantastic and I love you, and we like to have conversations. So that is why we are going to have a conversation tonight. We're not going to hand down a bunch of dating and relationship rules or any rights and wrongs. We're not here to shame anybody's love situation. Our only intention is to create audacious intimacy and stylishly seductive singlehoods.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? I added that in for you, my love.
Woo-hoo.
Right? Because it's all about the style and the glamour. You know, when you're single, sometimes you just want to have that on the outside as well as your inside looking good, and that's what you do.
And that's what I do.
Right?
That's what I do.
And also healthy relationships. So tonight and every Monday night, we're going to do what we do, which is have conversations that educate, engage, and or enlighten all of us in the areas of self-love, sex, relationships, and vibrating high.
Yes.
Woo.
I love it.
Do you?
That was good.
Oh, good.
I love the way that you can say all of that in one breath. Right? Because I would have been like, yes.
It's practice though. And I feel like, you know, what we just did just now is we practiced sort of our new opening,
yes.
our new vibe, how we're going to like share, you know, saying what we're doing and how we are and all that stuff each week. And after a while, it starts to be a little second nature.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
It feels good.
It does.
Right. So first, I want us to talk about our daily amazingness, because we talk about being amazing on the daily. So, you know, last week we talked about the different practices that we have for doing that, right?
Yes.
So I want to invite everybody out there who's listening. I see Harriet joined us and Joe. Let's see who else joined us. Brandon. Hi, my Brandon. My Lee Schultz. Hi, honey. Any of the people who have come in, you're welcome to join us in sharing.
Please do.
Right? Share what it is that you do to support your daily amazingness.
I love it.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know. Do you want to go first, Nneka, what you do? Or
No, you go first
go
because
first?
I'm still trying to share.
Oh, yeah.
This is crazy.
I hear that. No, I shared it to your page.
Yeah, but it's not, I don't see it.
It's not showing up,
Nope.
even if you refresh. I don't know.
I know, we always,
Well, try
every week
again.
it's me though.
Well, hon, let me tell you, in the 2 years I've been doing this, it's been technical difficulties since the beginning. So
oh God.
I might just be rubbing off on you. So
I see.
Don't feel bad.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, well, I don't know why you can't just hit the share now button, because that's what I did.
Right, but then when it shares, then you shared this post, but it's not sharing the
As
video.
the feed.
Right.
That's weird.
I
Okay.
know.
Maybe if you try.
Okay.
I don't
Wait,
know.
guys, just give us a second, I guess.
Well, we're working it out.
I know.
Nneka always makes fun of me because I always say on the Facebook.
I promise
But
you.
you know what, I say that to pay homage to the fact that we have not had technology our entire lives.
I promise you.
Nneka brought her beautiful little daughter Madison tonight, who's 15, who probably in her entire life has, you know, there's been technology around and probably has known how to navigate technology since she was what, 2?
Oh God. And she knows everything. I promise
And
you.
she knows everything about it. And here we are.
Just the struggling.
I feel like I got my first, like, well, first of all, when the internet came out, I was already in my 20s to age myself. But I think I got my very first email at like 22, 23,
wow.
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was late, right?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe that's just how old I am.
That's funny, right?
And it was a Hotmail. It was a Hotmail email.
I think I started with Yahoo, right?
Did you?
Hotmail. I've never
You
had
still
Yahoo.
have Yahoo though.
I know. I'm starting and ending with Yahoo.
All right.
I refuse to
You
change.
stayed loyal. I like that.
I'm a very loyal person. Very
like
loyal.
that. I think that's good. Hi, Brian Olson, who joined us. So, okay, what I did to support my daily amazingness this week. First of all, my daily amazingness was a trial. It was a challenge this week. My back went out. I came down with a cold. I just I don't know. After the show last week, we had such a great show, and then I just launched into, you know, crazy busyness. And my body was like, no, we're not doing this. And I don't know if you were here last week, you know, we were talking about shuffle dancing because I'm trying to learn how to shuffle. And I don't know if I somehow put some strain on my back or, you know, what I did. I still want to learn how to shuffle. I haven't given that up. But for this week, my daily amazingness was to do meditation. And I started Buddhist chanting.
Wow.
Because I was like, I need to chant for my health. I mean, I've done it before. It's not like I've never chanted. But I was like, I need to do something for this, you know, for this health, this overall well-being, overall energy. And so that's what I did. Normally I pray and meditate every day, but I incorporated the Buddhist chanting and I slowed down my yoga practice to make it a very caring, nurturing kind of practice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was my thing for this week. I mean, I'm still, and you know, I'll continue it on. You know, because you know I'm sitting here. Y'all don't know, but I got my waist trainer on
Yes.
to hold my back up straight.
She's going through a lot this week.
I'm going through a lot. And Nneka was like, "Wear your sweater. Don't just sit there with your waist trainer all out." I was gonna do that. You guys know how I do.
Yes. I was like, not today,
Not
please.
today.
I said, put the sweater on. We're fine.
So you tell us, Nneka, how was your week? What was some of your daily amazingness stuff?
Well, this week was a trying, sort of kind of trying week for me. So I had to just really pray. So that's what I did this week. I did a lot of praying and asking God to just give me discernment. You know, for some of you that don't know, I actually work a job, right?
Yes.
So I put in my resignation last Friday. And so, you know, with that comes fear. But I understand that I couldn't have fear and faith at the same time. So
Wow.
I just did a lot of praying and I feel so much better. The time is about to come, Friday, and I'm going to have a little faith get together, you know, just celebrating me being able to have faith and choose faith over fear. So yeah, that's what I did this week.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you're actually acknowledging, because a lot of times I think we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge big transitions. Because even when we leave something that's not working, or we leave something, you know, whether it's a job or a situation, if it's not working, or if we've just grown out of it, or if it's time to move on, a lot of times I think we as adults and in our culture, we're so busy looking forward to the next thing, that a lot of times we don't take that moment to just complete it.
Right.
You know, allow yourself to breathe. I love that you're having that, you know, faith party. It's like, allow myself to breathe.
Yes.
Because I know I'm transitioning into this next thing and it's going to take something. Yeah.
It's something else. I've never done anything like this before, but
No.
I'm excited. You know, I realized that I needed to do this in order for my business to grow.
Gotcha.
Right? So I just had to make a decision, my business or a job. And we all know job means just over broke. And I no longer want to be just over broke. I want to have abundance. So that's why I have to put all my energy into my businesses. So yeah.
I hear that.
Right?
I love it.
Woo!
I love it. And I think God and the universe love that too.
Yes.
Go ahead and step out on faith.
You have to.
Right?
You have to.
I see my Kimberly join. Hi, Kimberly and Valentino. Yay.
Yes.
So now tonight's topic.
Oh, God. Are you ready?
Right? Are you ready to
Are
jump
you
in?
ready?
Tonight's topic is, can an addict truly love you?
Can an addict truly? Now, how did we come up with this topic?
Yes, I love that you say that, because we were having a conversation, and I was telling you about it. It's as we've been getting to know each other. If you guys watched the show last week, Nneka and I have only known each other a couple of months, but we just like synergy, right?
Yes.
And we were having a conversation as we're getting to know each other. I was telling Nneka a little bit about my own history, my history of being in an abusive relationship with an addict. Now, I say that not to make that person wrong or to victimize myself or any of that sort of thing, because I very much, and in doing the reading up for this show and even in just thinking about this show, I very much showed up with my own addictive behaviors. Right? Which we're going to dive into, because sometimes we think that addiction is just about alcohol and drugs.
Right.
But it's so much more about so many other things.
So much more.
Right? So we were talking about it. I was kind of telling you about what my history was and kind of what we had been through. And you made a really good point that like kind of sewed it up for me, like buttoned it down. Like that, you know, because of his addiction in that relationship, there would be no way, first of all, for me to discern real love from him and for him to truly love me.
Right.
And then your sister Catrice last week, I noticed, even built on top of that, which expanded it even more when she was saying, you know, when a person's in their addiction, they're not loving themselves. So if they can't love themselves, they can't love you.
Right. She
Brilliant.
Sure did say that.
She did, right?
I forgot it. Yes.
Absolutely true. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So then it got me to thinking, and you know, I was thinking about that question of, can an addict really love you? And we were trying to come up with different topics. DJ Tall Guy says, I'm addicted to my cell phone, like most people.
Right.
But you know what? That's a real thing.
It is. It is.
And just because most people are addicted to it, a lot of times it's accepted but you can really drive a wedge in an intimacy, in a relationship by your cell phone.
Oh,
addiction.
definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
It can be something that helps you stay isolated. It definitely can act in the same way that any other addiction can act.
Yes.
But yeah, the way that we came about, you know, this topic was in that discussion, and I thought it would be good if we had a deep conversation about it, opened it up so that people could talk about their own experience with it. And also not to make anybody feel bad if they're in a relationship with an addict.
Oh, no.
But to at least be able to gain some clarity, especially if it's not working.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because
that's why we're here. Yep.
Right? Like I was saying last week, you could be in a relationship where both of you are addicts and you could go on for decades.
I promise you.
Right?
It's true. It is true.
And if what you never say to yourself is, I want healthier, then you're fine. Like, this is not about telling anybody, oh, this is what you need to do. But for those of us who really want to have a healthy relationship or want to create health in a relationship that we already have, it's really important to pay attention to whether, if something's standing in the way, if this could be it.
Right.
Right? Don't you think so?
Yes.
That's how we came about.
Well, that's how we came about with that subject. And
right?
I just thought that it was really an interesting subject because I want to know if it was the person that was loving you or like what could an addict process emotion?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I didn't think that they can because they're under the influence, whatever it is, and it could just be a host of things. When people say addiction, people automatically think drugs.
Yeah.
When there's so many other addictions. It could be food. It could be, like he said, his cell phone, you know, and that can destroy relationships, because sometimes you're so much into your phone that you are not paying attention to your spouse, and so addiction is no joke.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is.
No, absolutely. So let's talk about, because here's the thing. It's the great question of life. Like, what is love? What is love? And we sang that song last week too. But that's the great question of life. Like, people always want to define what love is. I see that Weeb Young says, Jesus answered that question. The most heinous person in the world can still love somebody. Well, we're not saying, do they have the actual emotional ability in the sense that as a human being, we all have the ability.
Right.
But if I'm steeped in an addiction, can I tap into that? Can I tap into that inner ability? So, this is not a question. It's not a moral question. It's not a question of whether a human being, can love somebody else. We know that that's possible. But can an addiction stand in the way of actually, because we all can do a lot of things that we let other things stand in the way of.
I promise you. That's the truth. That is the truth.
Right? Hi, Maria Ellison, who joined.
Hi, Maria.
But I think what we should kind of set the foundation is how we define love.
Right.
Because I think that, especially when it comes to romantic love, a lot of times we define that very differently.
It is true.
Right?
And the reason why I say that is because it also depends on culture. And I know you probably don't think that I don't know, but I realized, like I mentioned, I am married, but when I was dating, I dated other cultures, right? And I would say, I love you. And they would say, I love you too. But I realized that their love was different than my love, and like anybody out there that is African, Africans, to me, their love is different. They were raised, and this is what he explained, they were raised really not to trust women.
Ooh.
That's what he said. I would never trust a woman. My mother told me not to trust a woman.
Yeah.
So his love, and I realized it didn't mean the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was kind of hurtful, but I had to accept that was just the way he was raised. That was his culture. So it didn't,
Did you guys ever have a conversation where you got to have him say what it was that love meant to him? So if it wasn't trust, what did it mean for him to love a woman?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He never, because I don't know. After that, I think I didn't really understand it, or I didn't want to accept it, so I just moved on.
Yeah.
But I also paid attention to how I had to keep myself under control.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like my feelings.
Because then you felt like you had to guard your heart, right?
Yeah, I had to, because it didn't mean the same thing.
Yeah.
And so if you were never going to trust, because that's the way you were raised, then I knew that it couldn't be long term.
Yeah.
Because I needed to at least feel that my love meant the same as your love. I guess,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Does it make
like
sense?
that there was alignment.
Yeah.
With your love. It's like we were talking about the biblical being equally or unequally yoked.
Yes.
Like if there's alignment with the way that you're approaching the relationship. Yeah. Which I think is the whole point. Like when we get into these relationships, what we're working towards is finding that alignment or having that alignment. It's we always want to get with someone who we have things in common with, but the idea here is that we're partnering up so that we can continually align with each other, right?
Right.
And I mean, that's what I think When it comes to love, and I think DJ Talk, what do you say? Never be with someone who loves you more than they love themselves. I agree with that, DJ Talk.
I agree too. I definitely agree.
Right? I mean, for me, the way that I define it is the ability to accept and fill yourself up and then overflow. Right? That's what love is to me.
Yes.
And if you add in romantic love, it's being able to do that with eros. So that means that it's both active and it's passive. It's how you express yourself. It's how you overflow what you put out there. And it's also passive in that what you accept, what you let be okay.
Yes.
If someone is not perfect, if they're not the height you want them to be, if they, they don't have the intellect that you necessarily think you should be with, but you're in acceptance of everything they are and everything that they aren't. That's what making the choice to love somebody is. True. Right?
Yes, I agree.
We don't meet those perfect people that hit every single thing that we think is ideal.
That really just doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
So Barbie Armstrong says, not all have the ability, and many humans don't know love.
Yeah. Well, Barbie, like we were saying earlier, I think everybody has the ability, but like you said, they just don't know love, or they haven't experienced it, or they haven't been led. A lot of times it always comes from the parents.
It really does.
All our crap with romantic love.
Woo! Jesus.
It starts with our parents.
I promise you.
So if no one models that for us, then we don't. You're right. We don't know it. We don't know how to express it. We don't know how to fill ourselves up.
Right. It's true.
And that's how addiction, I believe, comes along. Like it's that I don't know how to fill myself up, so I have a constant feeling of not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. So what can I do to fill myself up? Consume, consume, consume. Right?
Yeah.
So whether it's that I'm drinking or that I'm gambling or I'm, smoking. I actually used to smoke regular cigarettes. I mean, I've smoked weed off and on, but regular cigarettes, over a pack a day for a long time.
Wow.
Yes, honey. You didn't know that about me.
No, I didn't. I'm learning.
Right?
Thank God for this podcast.
Right? But I used to think that it was out of just a rebellion and, because it started out, I'm just going to rebel against what my parents would want me to do.
Right. That's how it normally starts.
Right?
Yeah.
But it went on for probably like a good, I would say, almost 13 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And, in looking back on it, I realized that behavior was about not enoughness. It was about trying to, it was the filling of something. It's the physical act of filling something that I thought, that I didn't actually know emotionally need to be filled.
Wow.
Right?
That is something.
Hello.
That is something. That was deep. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So, with all of that said about love, and you guys, I see Roberta, Julie, Leisha, Rory, all you guys can chime in about what you feel that love is. I don't know if anybody's jumping in on what they feel love
they're
is.
just waving.
They're waving. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So, yeah, with that said about the basics of what love is, then we have to sort of define or be clear about what addiction actually is, right? So I did a little looking up.
Yes. What did you find?
I found this article by Adam Feldman and Dr. Vari Sapili of Medical News Today. And the way they define addiction is a psychological and physical inability to stop consuming a chemical, drug, activity, or substance, even though it is causing psychological and physical harm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for all of you out there, especially if you were listening last week, who think, I smoke a little weed or I drink every now and then or whatever. This is not that, we're not trying to say that because you use anything or, whatever, that you're automatically addicted. And if you have a partner who, drinks regularly or whatever, it's not the use of it. It's not the, someone likes to shop every now and then. That's not it. It's when psychological harm is caused and you continue to do it. Whatever it might be.
Psychological harm. So, is it okay? Because
psychological or physical.
Or physical. So if someone has a problem, I don't know what a problem is. So if someone enjoys going to the casinos and they enjoy going every week and spending a lot of money every week. But is it causing a psychological problem and is it causing physical harm? No. So does that mean they're not addicted?
Well, if they're going every week and it's making it so that they can't pay their bills, which does cause psychological harm. Like over time.
So it has to cause something.
Yeah.
It's just not going.
If it's causing something and the behavior continues. So it's like we can all engage in something, right? And then like, okay, you could have a night where you drink way too much and you wake up hungover. Mm-hmm. So if you're not addicted, you wake up hungover, you're like, I don't need to drink for a while. And I'm good. I go on about my life. When we're addicted, you wake up hungover and then you got a little hair of the dog that bit you and you got to keep using. So anytime you go into the lows, because there's always a low after overindulgence, right? You go into the lows, you still continue to use. It's like you're addicted to shopping. So you go out and you spend all the money you have, can't pay your bills, you get into a lot of financial trouble.
Then it's addiction.
If you keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so while you're doing it, now let's say that it's causing these problems. Mm-hmm. They are addicted. Mm-hmm. Can they truly love in the midst of that?
I'll tell you why. Here's why I believe.
What do you guys think as well? Yeah, I want to hear everybody. I want to hear you. I want to hear them. Like, I really want to know.
Yeah.
And then I'll have another one. So while they work on that, if you are addicted to a drug and you need this drug every morning in order to function throughout the day, can you still truly love if you are always under the influence?
Yeah, see. I already have my opinion about it.
So I want to hear.
But you guys can chime in. Whatever you think.
Yes.
Patricia, I see Patricia's here. Suman is here. Before I lay it down.
Because she's about to lay it down. I want to hear. What do you guys think?
I see Hi, Fanta.
Hey, Fanta. Hey, Nanette.
Hey, Nanette. I mean, here's the thing about it, too. It's like, like I was saying earlier, when Catrice added on about the loving of yourself. Mm-hmm. And then when I was saying earlier about the trying to fill yourself up with things. What it all comes down to, and this is not going to be to answer the question yet, but in general, as human beings, as human adults, most of when we have problems is a story of not being enough. Like, I'm not enough. I'm telling myself something. There's some belief in my head that's telling me that I'm either not good enough for whatever it is that I have, I'm not strong enough for whatever it is I want, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm an imposter. You've heard of imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Like, what is the common thread is this idea that I'm not enough. Mm. And for some, in order to cope with it, because we all have our coping mechanisms, what we do is we use something. We try to fill that hole of not feeling enough. What does Nanette say?
Nanette says, I think they can love. However, the drug is controlling how they show love.
That makes sense, Nanette. That totally makes sense. And that's a possibility as well. Mm-hmm. But within a story of not enough, what that is, we call it insecurities, we call it lack of self-confidence, we have a million different names for it. But what it really is just, I don't know how to love myself, or I don't love myself enough. I don't even know what that means. It's a phrase that gets thrown around all the time, and often we don't know what it means to love ourselves. Right. And we don't understand that it is a continuous practice, and that's sort of the journey of our lives, is getting to a place of full self-acceptance, loving self-acceptance, right?
That's true. That is true.
So in the midst of using the addiction and using the external stuff, there's no room for the ability to actually love someone else, because I'm not giving it to myself, and I can't give it to myself while I'm hoping that something else will give it to me. Does that make sense?
Say it again. Just say that last part one more time.
So I don't even remember how I said it because I'm so present with it.
I know, right?
But in the space,
because I liked it. I liked that.
Right, in the space of using something to fill myself up, because I don't feel like I'm enough. I'm not even giving myself an opportunity to do it for myself, like to generate the self-love that I would need. And if I'm not doing that for myself, I don't have anything to give someone else.
Right.
So I can be sexually attracted to someone else. I can use someone else like an addiction. I can be dependent on someone else. I can be codependent with someone else. All these things sometimes look like love, because that's what's modeled for us by our parents and movies and all the sad love songs that we hear. All of it looks like love, but my belief is, and through the research and things like that, because when I'm in my addiction, I am in a state of not loving myself. It's like what Catrice was saying. And when I can't love myself, I can't truly love somebody else.
Gotcha. I agree.
Right? Like I'm hindering my own ability.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
And here's the kicker.
What? Okay. Here she goes with her kickers.
It extends into anger addiction.
Of course.
Shopping addiction.
All of that.
All of it.
All of that. All
Right?
of that. Yes. Eating addiction.
Eating addiction.
Yes.
Right? And for my story...
Sex addiction.
Sex addiction.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about
Let's talk about that. That thing is real.
And still people don't believe it is. Like, but what it is if I'm, putting myself in danger, I'm, I don't care about the psychological harmful effects, getting a whole lot of people pregnant, just not taking care of my body in a way that's healthful. Like all of those things are the signs of being addicted to sex.
It is. It does.
Right?
Yes. It's crazy.
It's a crazy thing.
Right. Because at what point, even when it comes to sex, at what point do you feel that I'm addicted, or do you feel that I just enjoy it?
You mean like for yourself, like if you're observing yourself, or if somebody else is observing you?
I mean, just if you're observing yourself, like, because I think that some people just say, oh, I just love to do it.
Yeah.
And whereas other people, they have an addiction and they don't realize that they have an addiction.
Yeah.
You get it? They think it's just, I love to do it. You be like, no, you have an addiction to it. When you can't work without thinking of the next butt, what we called it last week? Front butt, you going to get
the next piece.
Right.
You
you have an addiction.
Yeah.
And what is causing that? Like,
see, that's the problem with addicts. And here's where we get into trouble, especially when we're in a partnership with addicts, is that you can't tell an addict to understand that they're addicted. The addict has to be able to say, this is causing so much harm in my life, I'm addicted to it, it's a problem. And until the addict can say that, like, you can't cause that for somebody else.
Wow. Can you bring it to their attention?
You can try. You can stage an intervention.
Okay.
You can sit down and talk to them. And they might even, like a really good addict, like a really adept one. I was just witness to this, with a couple friends of mine who were a couple. They might even be really, really good at, I'm addicted. But if they continue the behavior, they're just saying that because they know that that's what they want you to hear. And if you think they're working on it, they can continue to stay in the codependent relationship with you and continue to use. So when it comes to, being in partnership with an addict, the only thing that we can do is turn to our own healing and start to focus on, first of all, how did I attract this person, right? And even if you've been with this person for a long time, like, what is it? What is the energy? What am I bringing? Am I also addicted? Because when you spot it, you got it. My mentor, my favorite mentor says
when
that.
you spot it, you got it?
When you spot it, you got it.
I love it.
Right? My favorite mentor, Shawnee, says that. It's my favorite phrase. Because we're so good at, like, we like to point fingers at people.
Yes.
Right?
Wow, that was good. Right?
But it's immediately about a turning inward, which is the miracle of being partnered with an addict.
That is crazy.
Right? It is crazy.
Wow.
But I do think that, I think that God provides that sort of thing for us. So what does Joanne say?
Joanne just waved and said share.
Love it.
Ruth said addiction is a disease.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ruth, definitely. I agree.
And she's right. She said it isn't just substance abuse either. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing about that, though, Ruth. I do think that I'm not a clinician, so I don't even, pretend to be a clinician, but I am a big believer in the power of the mind and the power of our, when we're willing to be fluid with our psychological beliefs. Mm-hmm. And so in as much as there is a chemical element to addiction, especially when it comes to being addicted to chemicals, there still is, I believe that the power of the mind can overcome chemical addiction.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that and I'm loath to use the word choose because then people get a little defensive. Like, I don't choose this. I can't help myself.
Right.
When I'm in an I can't help myself state, I'm very much a victim of what I've been doing to myself, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I believe that we all have the mind power to overcome that. So I'm not saying there's not any exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, I do think that a lot of times, but I have a disease is sort of the excuse for staying in the addiction.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Yes.
Nneka, you're kind of like, ooh.
No, this is deep. I mean, because it causes you to
it.
even, while you were talking, just thinking about my own life.
Yeah.
Being a teenage mother and being in an abusive relationship, right? And then from that abusive relationship, marrying into, with my first marriage, and another abusive relationship, and then in order for me, like you said, to stop it, I had to look at myself. Why am I choosing to be with men that are abusive? And I realized that it was me.
Yeah.
And that's what I was attracting.
Yeah.
And so when I realized who I was and whose I was, that's when I was like, okay, enough is enough. I started, like you said, to love myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I can say I'm married to an amazing man. And remember we were talking about that, and I'm like, no, when I changed who I was, I started to attract different men.
Yeah,
and if I would have known that earlier.
Right? But that's what we say. It's like we always wish we would have known it earlier. But I really do believe that is what we're here for.
Yeah.
Like we're here to be in that sort of childish exploration of life. And it's why, when we're younger, we're more narcissistic as opposed to self-loving. Like we don't know how to make that distinction. And all those mistakes that we make, that we're just following what we were told. We come in as these fresh new babies, ready to love, innocent, nothing on us.
Whew.
Right?
Life happens.
Hi, Joan West. She says, hi, Candace. Love this topic. Oh, Joni, I miss you. Miss Joan is so sweet. She used to work, when I used to work at Wendy Williams, she was the receptionist.
You used to work at Wendy Williams?
I told you that.
I know, but the people didn't know.
Back in the day, honey.
Right.
The first 2 years, the pilot in the first 2 years.
Wow.
But what I was saying, when we come in as babies, we're all fresh and new, and then the world gets a hold of us, and then, our parents start laying their stuff on us, and what is modeled for us is, the narcissism and the abuse and the addiction and all of that stuff. We grow up trying to figure out, how do I become enough? And we just figure out how to survive, and sometimes the way to survive is drugs, violence, shopping even.
All that.
Food.
All that.
But for me, the three big ones that have featured in my life is food, anger, and nicotine. Those were my three sort of how do I fill myself up kind of addiction.
So dag. Let's see if I could think of three. No, I don't have to think of it. Well, I would say, like I said, abuse.
Yeah.
Sex.
Yeah.
And what's my third one?
I don't know.
Well, maybe I only have two.
You don't have to have a third one.
No, I know, but I'm sure that I've been through so much that there's probably 30.
Yeah.
But I would say those are the top two.
Yeah.
Those were definitely the top two.
The beautiful thing, though, about when we attract an addict or end up in a relationship with an addict is that when we're willing, and here's the thing, the hardest part about it is to not be in resistance of it. Like when I was with in my abusive relationship, my initial human reaction was resistance. Be mad at him, try to get him to stop, bitch at him all the time, try to get him to change his ways, like resistance. And it took me a minute to realize that, and it wasn't just that I realized it on my own.
Right.
I just happened to be very involved in personal growth and learning how to be a coach. And I got this epiphany from, one of the classes or something that said, you have to be willing to look within when you've attracted something in your life that's unworkable. And so that's when I was able to start identifying my own addictions, identifying that I also showed up abusive, that I showed up with addictions that were standing in the way of me being able to express love. But all of it for both of us, and all of it for all of us who've attracted an addict, it all comes down to, am I willing to turn it on myself and start actually learning how to love myself?
Wow. I see Fern.
Fern, what'd she say?
My kid's father was an addict, and he loves us to the best of his abilities.
Yeah.
But like anything you give, you gotta love yourself first. Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely
yes.
right, Fern.
Yeah,
absolutely
I guess they do
right.
love the best of their ability. But is that best enough for you?
Yeah. Or is it healthy for you?
Is it healthy for you? Right.
Because my couple friends that I mentioned earlier, what I noticed the cycle was is that he would drink himself to oblivion, sometimes, and get injured, and then rehab, come back and be sober again. And when he's sober, be the best boyfriend that there ever was. Like present and open and loving and going out of his way to make sure she's happy, giving foot massages, just wanting to love her up, love bombing her. And then something would happen to trigger his addiction again. And he'd go right back down that road. So, what that is, it's like addiction maintenance. It's like, I'm maintaining not only my addiction, but this codependent relationship that I have with you. So,
wow.
I don't know that you can necessarily define that as love, but, when we're not loving ourselves, the best that we can do is some substitute for love.
Wow. Right.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
Something that looks like love.
Yes.
But is not necessarily.
Wow.
This is one
I know. It's like, ooh, Lord, this topic.
This is not as fun as the vagina topic.
I know, right?
But it's good.
We need to talk about it though.
Right?
We just need to talk about it.
We need to be able to have conversations without being so quick to immediately make ourselves and others wrong. Because I think as soon as we do that, as soon as we start wagging fingers at ourselves and each other, then it makes, healthfully changing and transforming these situations a lot more difficult. Mm-hmm. So anybody out there who's in a relationship with someone who's addicted and wondering if that person loves them, you don't want to go right into a space of this is what's wrong with me, this is what's wrong with them, because that doesn't get you anywhere.
At all.
Right? It's like, what can I do with this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Candace always ends with deep. And I'm like, okay. That's why we work so well together.
Right?
She digs all the way deep and then I have to climb up. You're like, all right.
Can we get something to eat? Can we do something?
Right.
But it's good. It's a good balance because sometimes I get too much in my head. Now, what's going on over here?
Ruth says, I've never... first of all, Juetta says that was deep.
Yeah.
And then Ruth says, I've never understood the mind of an addict until I had a problem.
I hear that, Ruth.
I love it,
Girl.
Ruth. I love it, Ruth.
Yeah.
Juetta says, I believe love is an action.
Yeah.
You can feel love by the way someone treats you.
That's absolutely true.
Yes.
That is absolutely true. And here's the thing about, by the way someone treats you, the thing is that when we're already sort of filled up and in our self-love, then our inner knowing takes over, and the love that we feel is not just familial. So let's say you grow up in an abusive family. Mm-hmm. If you're a little kid growing up in an abusive family, abuse can feel like love.
Yes.
And so you can think if someone's like controlling with you, telling you, oh, you can't wear that, grabbing you and stuff like that, that's love and that feels like love.
Yes.
But when you are in your inner knowing and you filled yourself up, you love yourself, you value yourself, then you know what love looks like when it shows up.
I like that.
Right?
And just remind me that you grabbed my arm and I'm going to tell you why. No, seriously. But I want to go, Ruth said that I thought they were selfish. She said, the topic of wellness and therapy needs to be promoted.
Absolutely.
That is, yes, absolutely, Ruth. And I thank you for sharing that you had a problem, because I know that when we met, you shared your story with me, and it was such a powerful story. And I wish that you were here to be on this live today so that you can definitely, so if we ever talk about this again, please come in, because I know that you're very open about sharing, about your addiction. Juetta says, wow, well put. Thank you, Juetta. So, remember when you grabbed my arm?
Yeah.
I was listening to a young lady on a video or a podcast, I think it was YouTube, and she was saying that her daughter's father used to just grab her arm and jerk her, jerk her around. Yeah. But then when she would watch TV, they would talk about, oh, you're in an abusive relationship if somebody's punching you in your face or, slapping you. And she was like, well, he never did that, so I guess I'm not in an abusive relationship. Only until she realized that somebody said, if anybody ever jerks you, if anybody puts their hand on you that is, in a forceful manner,
trying to take control.
Then she realized, like, aha, I am being abused. But because he was doing it for so long, she didn't even know that was abuse.
Wow.
And I thought that was powerful. I'm like, wow. So sometimes we say things and we don't understand that it's so broad.
Yeah.
When we need to bring it in so people can have a clear understanding what is abuse and what's not. Even though this topic is not about abuse. We're talking about addiction. Yes, we definitely are going to talk about that. But yeah, you just reminded me when you pulled my arm.
But But yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's what happens, and the same thing happens with addiction. We get so used to practice behaviors,
Yes.
and if it feels familiar, sometimes it feels like love to us,
Right.
or we feel like it's okay, or we're not even aware to even think about it because it's familiar.
Yes.
And abuse does show up that way. Addiction also shows up that way. All these things that are unworkable and unhealthy, and then we wonder why, we go years with weight problems and, just not being able to get ourselves together or not being able to be productive in life, live out our dreams. All of that stuff gets stopped by what's familiar, what we just let go by for years. And we're all human. We all do it. We're all guilty.
Of course. I promise you.
Right? It's just, as soon as I get aware, then I can start to actually, how can I use this to my advantage rather than be a victim of what's happening to me?
Right.
Is always the question.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the hour is almost
Wait,
up,
it's over?
Nneka. Not yet. We still got time.
I was about to
but
say,
I want
no.
to make sure a couple of
Okay.
things,
All right.
because I want to make sure to give everybody the addiction. Quick 5 steps for if you're worried that you might be with an addict after
Yes.
all of this conversation. So if you're worried that you might be with an addict, you're concerned that might be the case, the first thing to do if you're not with a violent addict is just be communicative. And maybe even if you are, when you talk to your person, you talk to your partner, you always want to try to be as open and communicative as possible without trying to make them wrong.
Yes.
You need to find out information. You need to try to understand where they're coming from and what's going on with them. You want to be able to communicate and ask questions. Now, an addict won't always tell you the truth because they're not always aware that they're an addict.
Right.
They may or may not. They may be able to say, oh, I was worried that I might have a problem, whatever. But you got to have a willingness to communicate to see what you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Because that will be very telling if you're open and listening to what your gut says. And,
Yes.
you've known somebody for a long time. You know what's up. If you're asking the question, there might be some truth to it.
Yes.
The second is be willing to self-assess.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just be willing to look at yourself. A lot of times we're with a partner, and whether they're an abuser or an addict or whatever's going on with them, a narcissist, where we want to be in that victim mode, like I did everything right, and here I am with this person who's horrible. Well, like attracts like. And like I said, if you spot it, you got it. That doesn't mean that you're horrible or you're a monster, but it's always good to be willing to look at your own behaviors. Like I definitely had narcissistic behaviors when I met my narcissist, my
Right.
addict. I definitely had addictive behaviors. I definitely had ways of being that would attract somebody like that into my life and keep them for almost 5 years. So I can't pretend like I was just like a little innocent victim huddling in the corner. I thought I could fix this man. That's narcissistic within itself.
Yes, it is.
Right? Being a fixer. I thought, I could love him enough and he's going to be fine because I can put so much love in him. So it's just a willingness to say, what am I doing to myself, against myself, that is not working, and just be willing to admit that to yourself.
Right.
So then number 3, relationship assessment. It's okay if the relationship is not the ideal one that you want. You want to get really clear about that, because either there's something to be worked on, there's something to be changed or transformed. You don't have to be in a perfect relationship. Nobody is in a perfect relationship.
Nobody.
Right? It's okay that you're not, some standard that somebody else set up at some point that you're trying to meet.
Right.
It's okay. Like, you have to let yourself be human. And 4, intervention strategies. If you're already in a long-term commitment, married, or children are involved, it may be worthwhile, if you're not afraid of your own physical danger, to have intervention strategies, whether
Yes.
it's staging an intervention with family or, I'm going to give you the number for the hotline, because there's a lot of different possibilities for how you can intervene in someone's addiction, especially if you have to co-parent with that person, or
Right.
you've shared a life, you share finances. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Right?
Yes.
And then the last one is to always be willing to look to your own healing. Immediately, like right off the bat. So when you start to feel like you're with someone who has addictive behavior, or they're doing things in the relationship that's not workable, rather than turn it towards fixing them, turn it towards, what do I need to heal? What am I not doing for myself? What am I not giving myself that has me in this situation, has me feeling like I'm feeling, has me viewing this the way that I'm viewing it? What's going on with my beliefs? Always be willing to question what you believe about yourself.
Yes.
Because sometimes we give ourselves the hardest time out of anybody.
That's the truth.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So true.
Right?
Wow.
So that's that. Now here's the addiction hotline. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No,
Nneka?
not at all. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Yes. Isn't she great? Look.
So here's the addiction hotline. It's 1-800-662-HELP. That's the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We're going to leave the number in the comments on the post for this video. So in case you think that you might be with an addict and you want to know what to do and what your next steps should be, you really should get individualized attention. I think it was Ruth who mentioned about the importance of wellness and therapy.
Yes.
And not being afraid. We have so much stigma, especially in our culture. We're so afraid to actually ask for help.
Oh
Clinical, psychological help. It's okay if you need that.
Okay.
Right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not meant to be doing this stuff alone. Right? Especially if you're in a partnership with someone who you're not safe emotionally or not safe physically with, whatever it may be. With my addict, it wasn't that I was afraid that he was going to beat me up. But he would get so high that he would drive like a crazy person.
Oh my God.
And I was always afraid for my life, like white knuckling in the car. And I'm not somebody who's like, don't drive fast. He literally would put us in danger. He got in a couple car accidents by himself, luckily. And
I don't play those games. I remember when a man did that to me, he just started driving fast.
Oof.
I think he was just under the influence of anger.
Yeah.
Not even a drug or alcohol. And my thing is, get me out.
Yeah.
Because I know that I look at a lot of crashes and the passenger dies, not the driver.
Right? It's always
So I'm like, listen, you're going to let me out.
right?
Right now.
It's always the passengers or the sober people that end up dying.
Yes. Yes.
You have crazy or drunk people driving.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's true. So,
That was good. That was a good topic.
That was a good topic.
Thank you guys for, commenting and all these hearts and stuff that I'm seeing. Thank you. And for all the shares.
Sure,
that is a big deal. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So what are we going to do?
So we got to let the people know, first of all, our upcoming events and what's going on here. Right? So every night we're doing the podcast. Every Monday.
Lord, not every night. You hear this one? Trying to every night.
Every Monday night we're doing the podcast, and we are opening it up. I'll put the Eventbrite link as well. If you're here at 7 p.m., you can come, be in the audience, sit in the audience, have a glass of wine. We'll have a little connection before we start, and then we go live, and you can participate. Ruth, Joetta, those of you who wanted Fern, you can come back. I know my friend Shanton said something about wanting to be back on the show. Shanton, you can come back. Excuse me, Joan. Anybody who wants to come, it's going to be a connection hour, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to launch into the podcast. And then the next thing, we are hosting the Not Your Average Vision Board Party. How many of you purchased your tickets? I see you purchasing. We need you to come on, and don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait for your friends or your family. Just come on and, purchase your ticket so that you can be here in the building amongst some other people that want their vision to manifest in the year 2020. We have some amazing people sitting on the panel that's going to help you, to give you the first steps, that is going to take you to the next level. I myself am going to be cutting out pictures as well and talking about the goals that I have for the year 2020. So this event is next Saturday, January 18th at 3 p.m. But you need to purchase your tickets now because it is a sponsored event, and my sponsor needs to know how many people I am expecting. So at least please purchase your tickets by Wednesday so that we can get everything in here, okay? Yes.
January 18th, Not Your Average Vision Board Party.
And
we're going to have
price.
and the early bird price. Yes, so you need to purchase so that you can get the early bird rate, and it comes with an amazing gift bag from Celebrities Boutique. So you want to definitely do that.
Yeah.
What is the next event we're having?
The next one is the Makeup and Matchmaking Party.
Woohoo!
Those of you who were listening last week know that I am now a Talkify matchmaker, and you know that Nneka here is an amazing makeup artist, and you're going to be teaching a full beat tutorial, full face of makeup, and I'm going to be doing a matchmaking assessment. I'm also putting single women, single men on the roster. Single men is separate because this is not the event is not necessarily for you, but I'm putting my single people on my roster of recruits to match with clients, which means that you get to go to the date for free. I mean, y'all have to pay for the date, but you get to be matched for free. So I have a client who joins Talkify. I'm going to have to match them with somebody. And there's some amazing people. Everybody gets screened. So you'll get a matchmaking assessment while you learn how to do a full beat on your face.
I love it.
Right?
I'm like, where were you when I was single? Lord Jesus.
You did just fine by yourself.
Right, I promise you. He found me. Look.
And then what's our other one?
February 22nd.
Sister Catrice.
My sister. What is it? The class she's teaching? The what?
The badass business class.
She says all the bad words. So if you notice, I'm like, the what? I can read it. It's right here. But
I say all the swears.
All the swears. Right.
So yeah, Catrice is gonna come in and she's helping us with marketing, things like that.
Anything in business. Catrice used to be out here in New Jersey with she owned a salon. She made tons and tons of money, and then she made the decision to transfer over into the corporate world. So she knows every part of business, and she just wanted to come and give you just some pointers if that's your goal. Like, how do you transform from being an entrepreneur back into the business world and make a whole lot of money. Let me tell you, this girl knows everything. She's the reason why I'm in business.
Yes.
So I look forward to her flying in from Texas just to be here with you guys, and that date is February 22nd. So you guys pencil us in. We have a lot of amazing events going on here inside of the boutique.
Right, and we want you guys to come and be part of our community.
Yes.
What do you
think? Community.
Every now and then I get very yenta. I don't know
right.
why.
Where did that come from?
Anyway, so what else? Follow us, Instagram, Ask for Candy Podcast,
yes.
Celebrities Mobile Boutique,
yes.
Candy Love Coach. We're also, both of us individually are available for speaking engagements.
Yes, we are.
Right?
What else? We do so much.
Our YouTube channel. I put last week's podcast up on YouTube, so come subscribe to our YouTube channel. This one is going to be up at some point this week, as soon as I can get to editing it. And, you can watch the show again. You can watch all through and leave us comments and interact and all that stuff. And we will always comment back. Also, my Epic Intensive Group Coaching Program is coming up soon for people who want to learn the skills for creating healthy relationships. Whether you're in one or not, you can use my 6 steps for transforming your inner landscape to let go of toxicity and have intimate, connected relationships that you really want to have.
Woo! There she goes again. It's like she takes a deep breath and all that stuff comes out. That's that yoga, I guess, right?
It's a yoga breath.
Right.
Anyway, I know the Armed Radio people are about to leave Armed Radio. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now, you made fun of me for my tagline last week, so we might have to come up, because I said, never forget this is my tagline. I always said, until next time, never forget that you're a love machine. If you ever
do y'all like that tagline?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, wait, it's more?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Never forget that you're a love machine. If you ever start to feel like you're not getting the love you need, just make more and ask for candy.
Woohoo!
I'm open to working on it. We could come up with it. I've just been doing it for 2 years. I've gotten used to it.
Yes.
But I'm open to change.
Right.
Yeah. If that tagline doesn't speak to you, we'll come up with something sassier.
Okay. Let the people speak.
Nneka doesn't love
Speak
it.
now or forever hold your peace.
Right? All right, so bye to the Armed Radio people. I'm assuming they might have already gone. I don't know. And the Facebook Live people, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
I love you so much, Miss Nneka. Madison, you want to come say hi to the people? This is Nneka's beautiful daughter, Madison.
Say hi.
Hi, Miss Madison. Anyway,
she's also functioning the camera.
That's right. She's also our camera person for the night, lady camera person.
Yes.
And thank you, everybody who showed up.
Thank you so much.
Love
we
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yes, we do.
Right.
And we'll see you again. Actually, we'll see you on Saturday, right? Yay. At 3 p.m. here at the boutique for the event. And then we will hear from you next Monday.
Yes.
What is our topic on next Monday? Did we even get to that? We forgot.
We might do I was thinking the financial compatibility one. We can
Won't
do
we
one
let them
that's a little
pick?
more
So give
fun.
them 2 options.
Financial compatibility and off the top of my head, I don't remember what else was on the list.
So,
we could do
we'll
one about dating. We could do one about sex. We could do one about whatever you guys think of. Leave it in the comments, either over here on the watch party or on the Facebook Live, and we'll do a whole show around it.
Yes, we will.
We should do a fun one because this one was a little. Sometimes they get very serious, but this one was a little serious, so we should do a funny one.
Yeah. So if you have any ideas for future podcasts, please let us know.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Bye.
We will see you